What is going on, everybody? I am back with a brand new video, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Innova SHRYKE. I saw the SHRYKE laying around my collection and I remembered it is one that I used to throw a lot, that I would get some pretty good distances with. So I kind of wanted to come out here, test a few different plastics, or a couple different plastics, few different discs, and see if it still goes far for me. So we have two Halo. This yellow one is what I used to bag. It's been thrown a lot, so I would say this is going to be our beaten in one. Then we have a Captain Crush SHRYKE, which has really not been thrown that many times. I would just say a handful of times. And lastly, we have a Champion SHRYKE. One thing that I think is interesting about the SHRYKE is for the Champion, the flight numbers are 13.6, -1.2, and they actually switched them for the Halo. It's 13.6, -2.2. So that's kind of interesting that they even changed the flight numbers. We're just gonna give these a few tosses, try to every angle, flat, anhyzer, and hyzer, and just kind of see how far they go, how they're reacting to the angles and speed. Just get a quick little review about them. I'm gonna start with the Champion, try to release these as flat as I can and as hard as I can, see if we can get any movement out of them. Maybe a little turn out of that. Wow, that flew great. I think that's right by the scoreboard. Didn't really turn. I might have put it on like a tad bit of anhyzer, kind of pull it off to the right side. Captain Crush. I feel like that one is hooking harder at the end there. That one might have just got to 360. Seemed like it had a little bit more of a bite, really straight flight until the end. We also have a little bit of a tailwind today, so that's important to note. Now we have what I would call the beaten in one. I have no idea how beaten in this actually is, but we'll see. I gave it a little hyzer. Flipped up the flat for maybe a second. See what those come in at. So the Captain Crush is the one that's coming in the shortest. It's right at this goalpost, which should be about that 365, 364 to my bag. And this Halo landing basically the same spot, just a little bit more left, 361 to my bag. And it was the Champion that kind of got crushed. Man, that is some seriously cold wind. Curious if this hit the 400s or not. And the Champion, I am getting 384 feet, which seems like it makes sense. So basically I need to make it to this road if I want to hit 400 today. I'm gonna throw these going back the other direction, which is gonna be a headwind, and see how they hold up. Start with the Champion. This time I'm gonna try to pop them on a little bit of hyzer just so they fight the wind better is my hope. I have no idea how these are gonna react to this type of wind. I'm just hoping we can get some nice flights out of them. My hands are so cold. Oh yeah, that puppy turns and turns and turns. I just cruised right. Put it on a hyzer, probably about like that. The Captain Crush is what I felt like had the most bite at the end of its flight. I'm gonna try to pop it on the same hyzer, see if it turns a little bit less. I think it turned more. That went absolutely nowhere. Try to give it a little bit more height. With the height, I can get it to kind of fly, but it just dies with that wind. I mean, those are going absolutely nowhere. Safe to say that I'm not gonna be throwing these in any sort of headwind based on how those flew. The Champion didn't do half bad. Put it on a pretty good hyzer and it kind of just rode as like a turnover backhand. The Captain Crush, I might have put it more on like a line drive, really spinny, and it just turned over immediately. And then our yellow SHRYKE, it did okay. I got a full flight out of it. It just stalled out in the wind. And I also think I just put it a little bit higher in general. That is a pretty skinny goalpost to hit, but I'm getting 260 pretty consistently. I feel like that makes sense. The yellow one is up next. Looks like 329 feet. I think I just put it a little bit too high. Started to stall out at the end of its flight. I think the Champion went furthest once again. 2 for 2 for the Champion SHRYKE. Let's see how far it went. This is pretty much right in line with the goalpost, but it's way right of it, so I don't know. Might have went a little further. That is insanely hard to hit, but I've gotten 384 about 4 times now, so we're gonna go with that. All right, back to the favorable wind. I'm gonna try to pop these on some Annie lines and see if we can push a little bit further than that 380 that the Champion went. This really isn't my best release ever, Annies. I think I've said that a lot on the channel, but we'll give it a whirl. Oh, I slipped. That's going nowhere. That's basically, I need to redo that. I got it on a little Annie. It fights out so quickly. I want to put it on more Annie than that because I want him to actually drift right. See if we can put the Champion on a better line. Even that fight's really hard. That's gonna hit the tree, isn't it? Oh! That's a good shot. Still about 360, I bet, though. Those are not really getting past the other field goal post. I really wish we could have seen that Champion not hit that tree. Only 333 feet with the Champion after hitting that tree. I probably would guess that went 360 if it doesn't hit the tree. Not really the distance that we're looking for. Seems like I'm pretty consistent with the other two. Right about 360, 365 is what they went. Goalpost to goalpost again. To be completely honest, I'm not really interested in the hyzer anymore. If I were to throw hyzer, it would be to hopefully flip them up and get some extra distance. But with this tailwind, I can't even really get them to hold over on anhyzer, let alone try to flip them up on hyzer. So we're gonna give this one more good attempt at trying to push over the 380 that the Champion went. I just can't really get them to go anywhere. Man, oh man. Oh, okay, that one probably cheated if it hit 400. I hit the road on the right side, which the road comes in a little bit sooner, and it got a really good skip. That might have done it on accident. I tried. Go, get legs and skip. Well, it's behind the sign, which I think we know should be around 380. Well, I feel like the blue one has come up the shortest every single time, whether it be a misrelease or I just can't hold it over for long enough. I'm getting right at 349, which seems to make sense. This should be right around the 380-ish mark, going in between 387, 386, 388, so call it 385 if you want. And the last one I think is way back here. Again, the Champion got a nice little skip off the path, so this really shouldn't even count, but it's fun to look at because this probably went pretty far. I keep getting right around 442. I hit 442 like 2 or 3 times on my bag, but it doesn't really count because it hit the concrete. Well guys, there you have it for my SHRYKE video. Kind of like a quick field work test, I guess. Not sure if this is really a great review, but for me, it just felt like the Halo SHRYKE. I couldn't really get all that far. I had that last throw where I put it on some good angle and got a decent flight out of it. I mean, 380, I think that's pretty good for me, I should say. The blue one lost every single round. I think this came up the shortest each and every time. It seemed like in the tailwind, it had a really nice fade to it, just like the yellow one did. So when I threw it in the headwind, I was expecting a pretty stable flight out of it, or one that actually held up to the wind. Maybe I threw it too low, but that thing just rolled over very quickly. And the Champion one actually surprised me. I think I threw this the furthest every single time. Even in the headwind, we got a nice little backhand turnover with it, which was completely accidental. I had no idea how it would react, but it still flew, I guess. Same with the yellow one. It did okay in the headwind as well. I put it a little bit higher than the blue. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.